Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. This is the Torture Room Theory YouTube channel, and this is my first video log. So I wanted to start creating video logs of life of a massage therapist. So the Torture Room Theory, I am the owner of the Torture Room Massage here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I don't see a lot of content about the life struggles or what it takes to be a massage therapist, the do's, the don'ts, how we began, what's the journey, what's our outcome, what's our main goal and focus. Okay, so before I was a massage therapist, I had a totally different career, a career that I had been in for about 12 years. And one day I woke up and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I felt out of love of the career that I used to have before I was a massage therapist. And being in a career for 12 years, that really takes a toll on you. You kind of think like you have to belong there. The struggle of, should I stay in this career? Should I move forward? What's the possibility? You have fear, you have anxiety, you have doubt. But there's also, at the same time, you also have wonders of, what can I really do? Should I really be doing this? Should I work in a job just to earn a paycheck, pay my bills, and one day that's it? It's going to be over. So one day I decided to leave my job, and I really didn't know how that was going to happen. And somebody that was really close in my life helped me, like, look in a different direction. And they actually guided me towards massage therapy, not really knowing what that was really going to entail, what it was going to be all about. Would I be good at it? Would I like it? I didn't know. That was the biggest thing, is leaving one career that I had been in for 12 years to try a new adventure that I had no clue what was going to happen, no idea. I hadn't even received a massage a day in my life. That's how clueless I was about massage. But somebody showed me and directed me towards massage therapy. And when I was like, why would I want to do massage? And all they said to me was, imagine how many people you could help instead of going to a job that you don't like, a job where your attitude is going downhill. And a lot of people find themselves in that situation, in a career or a job that they really don't like. They stay in there long enough because they feel like they need to, like I said, get that paycheck and pay the bills, but also they stay there long enough in fear of trying to see what new is out there, or if it's even right for them. I had all of the above. But somebody told me, imagine you could be helping people when you go to your job. And I was like, that would be pretty cool, I guess. I don't know, but for a recap, I was a corrections officer prior to massage. So a correctional facility, it can be very stressful and a hostile place. So that's why they told me, hey, if you became a massage therapist, you could really help people. And imagine the impact that would lead to. And I fought it tooth and nail at the very beginning. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't think it's right. Like, I'm gonna quit my job anyway. I don't mind doing a meaningless job, whatever that was gonna be. I just wanted a job with no responsibility. But eventually, I decided to pull the trigger on going to massage school. And it took me a couple months to find a massage school that I really wanted to go to. And so once I did, I applied, I got accepted, paid the 1 year tuition all up front. I decided, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to go all the way in. We're going to do this. We're going to make it work. And it was difficult. Let me tell you, it was difficult not having any prior knowledge of anatomy, of healthcare, and just those two alone, the verbiage. I had no knowledge of what that was going to be like. It was difficult for me to learn. The curriculum was difficult for me to learn. The reading the books at each chapter, it was pretty difficult. Understanding energy, I didn't even know what that meant. The transference of energy. Um, just like anything else, it was weird for me to know that muscles have a different terminology, bones have a different terminology, attachment points, and then we get to pathology. So either way, massage was very, very new to me, and I really didn't know how to take it in. And I was getting very frustrated. It was like 4 months into the program where it was a lot of book learning, a lot. And I was getting very frustrated. I was angry at myself. I was becoming short tempered because it wouldn't click in my mind. Everything I was reading, I'm like, I don't understand what these words mean. I don't understand it. I thought this was massage. What about the touch? It wasn't until month 5 when we started implementing the application of massage. We pair up with the person in the school, and then we'd work on each other. And right there, with the teacher overseeing us, we're like trying to do full body massages. Okay, let's work on the neck. Let's work on the shoulder. Let's work on the hip mobility. Let's work on this. Everything is so new, but the hands-on portion that clicked to me. That actually like sparked something in my mind that I was like, dude, this is actually really cool. I love it. Like everything that I was reading in a book it was kind of clicking. Like pieces to a puzzle. Everything was starting to set itself in. I don't know if anybody else has gone through that where they're reading and reading and reading and nothing's clicking, but as soon as they go hands-on application, guess what? Everything just falls into place. And that's how I found out I was learning really well with massage, and eventually both of them kind of synced together where now I can read a lot of books and go through curriculums in massage therapy, and everything I understand now so well. But I'm also in the career for over a decade now. So, but I just wanted to start this first video log on um, how it all started for me. Being in a career for 12 years, falling out of love with that career, not wanting to go back, hating that job, hating myself for being there, thinking I'm always stuck. And somebody that was really close to me at the time kind of, they turned me into massage therapy, thinking, dude, you can help people, and you don't have to go to work in frustration all the time. You can actually go with a good mindset. And that's how it all started for me. And even though that was probably one of the biggest struggles in my life, that turning point, and we all face those. We all face struggles in life where it's a turning point. Should I go down this road? Let me go left or right. You hit that fork in the road. Should I stay? Should I go? You know, it was really difficult for me at the beginning to say, okay, let's do this. And I was kind of relaxed at the very beginning, and then also got very frustrated because I didn't understand the curriculum. I love the hands-on portion, and that's when I started to fall in love with the career of massage therapy. And it was then when it started to spark my interest of what's possible, what else can we do? And I know I was only scratching the surface. And even now, with so many years in the game and all the experience that I have, I still feel sometimes that I'm only scratching the surface. But I think that's a good thing because it keeps me curious. It keeps my imagination going. It keeps me wanting to keep learning more. It keeps me asking questions. And I think that's probably one of the greatest things you can do as long as you're um whether it's a job, a hobby, what you love to do, something like that, as long as it's always keeps your imagination running and you're always curious and you keep wanting to learn more, I think you're on a right path. At some point you find yourself on the right path and you end up finding meaningful purpose. I didn't find purpose in the last career I was in. There was no purpose for me there. I woke up, I went to work, everything was on a schedule, and I clocked in, I clocked out, and there were 12-hour shifts, and that was it. There was no meaning, no purpose. One day that career was going to end, and my life was just going to be over after that point, drawing retirement. I mean, I actually didn't know what I wanted to do, but entering the massage therapy program opened my eyes, it opened my mind, and it opened my heart to a new way of living, a new way of looking at the world, a new way of like communicating with people, a new way of living my life, where now I'm like, I'm not just going to a job, or I'm not just going to a career thinking I clock in, I clock out, and day's over. No, massage is just so deep. There's so much depth to massage, mentally, philosophically, the psychology of massage, how many techniques and modalities there are, how many people you can actually reach and work with, and their stories. I think that's probably the coolest thing about massage therapy is that you get to meet so many people, various types of people from all walks of life and nationalities, and everybody has a story. And you get to hear that story, and then they come to us, because they're facing some stressor in their life, whether it's biomechanical, social or psychological, they come to us just for a little bit of help. And massage is so deep that it actually applies to all three of those pillars, or just one individually. So I thought that was very, very cool. So I started asking myself a lot of questions while I was learning the application of massage, doing these full body massages, pairing up with partners. And we always like round robin with partners just because everybody's different, different body types. And the massage program was a whole year. I know different states, it could be 2 years, it could be three. The state I was in, it was a 1 year program. So that was actually pretty cool and was able to complete it pretty well. My NPLEX exam went really well. I passed it on the first try. I really fell in love with massage so much. It just made me want to keep learning more, made me want to keep picking up more books. And just like everybody else, we just flood ourselves with continuing education. But that's kind of how it started for me, massage therapy. And I think it's pretty cool sometimes to walk into a new life not knowing where you're going. And maybe, and I think that's what scares a lot of people a lot. It's like, well, if I don't know what's going to happen, why should I do it? What if I fail? What if everything goes south? What if everything goes bad? What if I don't pass? What if I don't make it? What if people make fun of me? All these things just flood our minds when we try to do something new, when it's actually scary because you're leaving something comfortable. So it was comfortable for me to go back to my job where I just clocked in, clocked out. I had a steady income, I had a steady paycheck, bills were always paid, and that was it. So, but it really was. I didn't leave thinking I want to make an impact anywhere. I didn't even have that mindset until I actually was halfway through the program of massage therapy, and then once I completed it, then it was like, man, what's possible? What is it that I can do? And that's when I really wanted to start to make an impact. And it's like I was awake, I was alive, like I was going into work just thinking, man, this is amazing. And a lot of times we find ourselves unhappy going into work, and I didn't find that with massage. And I'm in here over a decade now, and um, man, I still get excited going into work. I love seeing my books full, and sometimes it pains me to meet massage therapists who or people who were once massage therapists and were great. They tell me their story, and after 4 or 5 years, they're like, I just couldn't do it anymore. There was so many people. I was booked all the time. Everybody had drama, and that can weigh heavy on people. That's one of the stressors we face as massage therapists, is always hearing another person's story. Like, we have to be very attentive to it. And sometimes you find out maybe it just isn't for you, and that's okay, that's fine. There's some careers out there that are not built for me. One was corrections. So but also on the other side, on the flip side of that coin, getting to meet new people, having to hear another person's story, getting to understand another person's story and why they are the way they are currently, holding on to certain stress and how it shows in muscle tissue, that excited me so much more. And I still get so excited going into work. It's amazing. So that was my beginning of becoming a massage therapist and not really knowing what I was going to do with it. All I knew at the time is I found something new. I had no idea where I'm going. I have no idea what path is going to lead me down. I didn't know what the outcome was. I didn't know where my paychecks were going to come from. I didn't know how much income I was going to be getting. Am I going to be able to pay my bills? All these things were compounding up of like all the fears and unknowns that I don't know what is going to happen. But if I could say one thing, if there's something that you kind of want to do and you're like always thinking about it, but you're scared, dude, jump, man. Just jump. Take that leap, have that leap of faith, and know that even if you don't know where you're going, walk with faith and walk with belief and walk with your true feelings that everything is going to turn out okay. We always end up making it at the end of the day. We always end up making it, and now I'm actually doing really, really good in massage therapy. I can't complain. I do very well. I see people every week. There's obviously way more massage therapists that are more booked than I am, but that's okay. I get to help the people that are meant to be in my room, and that's amazing to me. So, so going into the unknown and not realizing what's going to happen and walking with fears and doubts and anxiety, and then coming out the other end a better person, coming out the other side with so much more knowledge, wisdom, experience, with so much more confidence. That is the greatest thing I could ever receive than receiving a paycheck to for showing up to work, and then for clocking in and clocking out. So, so I at the end I fell in love with massage therapy, and I hope I can do this for as long as I can. Just a little over 10 years now. I hope I can do it another 10 or maybe 20 years. That would be amazing. So I don't know what every other massage therapist goes through or why they decided to get into massage therapy. So everybody has their reasons, and everybody has their own journey. I know everybody gets into massage therapy for their own reasons, and whatever that reason is, I want to help more people. Like me, I didn't like my previous job. I think it could be easy money. It's I don't want to be in a stressful situation anymore. I want to help people, whatever it is. Everybody has their reason why they want to start massage therapy, and all I could say is, with all the experience that I have gained so far, I would like to say, if anybody is watching this, if you're thinking about getting into massage therapy, pull the trigger, and just know that if you walk into it the mindset that I am doing this because I want to help other people, and you really think you can, that will take you farther than saying, I want to do massage therapy because I think it looks easy, because it really isn't. Or I want to get into massage therapy because it's easy to make so much more an hour per session. Trust me, it's not that easy. You can't just put a sticker price on your treatments and expect everybody to pay for it, because it's kind of like a cutthroat career. If you go down the street wherever you live, trust me, you're going to find massage therapists everywhere. And we all kind of blend in together. We all do the deep tissue, we all do the cupping, we all do the stretching, and the Swedish massage and relaxations and reflexology. We all kind of, like, there's a gray area where we all kind of do a lot of the same stuff. And now we got to look at pricing, and then you got to look at environment, and then you got to look at, how do they make us feel? What's their bedside manners? So you got to find out where you fit in. And that's probably the biggest struggle getting into massage therapy, was, where do I fit in massage? I know I'm wearing a hoodie now, but I have tattoos. I'm sleeved up, tattoos on my chest. So let me tell you, when I got into massage, I tried to be like everybody else, saying, "Oh, well, that person is doing this. That person said this on their ad. That person put, you know, a flyer on their window." And so I tried to be like everybody else, and I failed miserably. I failed pretty hard, and I had to find out who I was. And that is probably one of the biggest struggles you're going to find, is because you're going to have to draw into yourself. When you find out, who are you? And that's a hard question for some people to answer. And when I ask people, like, who are you, or what's your purpose, and a lot of people just don't have a clear and direct answer. So going into the career of massage therapy had me really draw mentally and spiritually into myself, where it wasn't like, okay, I have to be this person for this job. No, it's like, who am I? Who do I want to be? And what do I want to show the world? So I had to draw into myself, because how I present myself is how I'm going to be seen by my clients, and the impact that I'm going to put in my community. And that was probably the most difficult portion of everything. But when all that starts to click, and it's not going to happen overnight, it might not happen in a month, it might not even happen the first year. For me, it took 6 years before I found out where I should stay. Correction, it took me 5 years until I found out where my place is in massage therapy and what I can actually show people. It took me 5 years, and so the first 5 years was a huge struggle. And but once you find it, you find momentum, everything just starts falling into place. And something I heard somebody say one day, it was like you only need to get it right once. You could pick the wrong career, you can pick the wrong partner, you could, if you're a massage, you pick the wrong location to work at, you pick the wrong modality courses to learn, but you only need to get it right one time. The right place to work, the right image you want to put out. You find the right curriculums that you say, these actually click for me very well. I can excel in these a whole lot more than these ones. And that's what's fascinating about massage is you can kind of pick and choose that where you excel in the most, but you only need to get it right once. So stick with the game, and when you get it right, ride that momentum and keep going forward. And trust me, the impact is just going to keep going more and more and more. And that confidence is going to build, the experience is going to build, the knowledge is going to get greater, ascending you to what we all want is just a little bit more wisdom. So that was really the biggest struggle, the biggest shift for me, you know, um, back in like 2014, being set in a career for 12 years, um, falling out of love with that career, just clocking in and out, knowing that it was comfortable because I knew my schedule, I knew the paycheck I was getting, I knew my bills I had to pay, and that was life. And it was comfortable, it was easy, but it wasn't fulfilling to me. It wasn't fulfilling in any way. It gave me no spark. I was slowly dying inside, emotionally and spiritually. And the person in my life at that time, was somebody that I was involved with, and she was very important to me at that time in my life. And she saw it in our home where it slowly started, killing me just a little bit, inside. And I think that's why she said, if you help people, you might find something new within yourself. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I took that advice. I'm glad I pulled the trigger. But shifting from one career to another career, not knowing what's going to happen, walking in the dark, walking down a path that I have no clue what's possible, didn't even know what I was going to discover. Not only discover with the knowledge and the experience, but I didn't know who I was going to be. And that's scary when you actually change your character or your certain personality traits, and you find out that you're not the same person you were. And I have ran into people that I knew, back in the day, and they're like, dude, you're totally different, man. It's like this side of you is just it's different, and it's more welcoming. But I think it's also because I have to work with so many people. I have to say hello and hi and listen and be attentive, and I have to be very understanding. I have to be empathetic and sympathetic as well. Really shifted, you know not only my mentality but my well-being. And I will say this: being in a career that keeps you alive, keeps you curious, keeps you looking for more, um, keeps you excited to keep going, I think that brings a lot more longevity into your life, instead of slowly dying inside from going into a job that you just really don't like, but you're comfortable there because you get that steady paycheck. And there's nothing wrong with that. I get it. A lot of people in this world live that way and have to live that way. I thought I was the exact same way. But for anybody who thinks, hey, I want to start something new in my life, pull the trigger, jump, just do it. And if you have questions or concerns or don't even know what's going on, talk to the people who are closest to you. Talk to the people who are, at that point for my life, it was somebody I was involved with. If you don't have that, talk to your family. If you don't have family, let me tell you, draw into yourself. Find a mentor, go to church. There's people out there willing to help other people, you know. So if you're struggling on that end, just, if anything, drawn to yourself, sit down and ask yourselves, why do you want to change? What is it about it? Find purpose within yourself. Your purpose always has to be you. No one's gonna actually help you, or no one's gonna actually take your hand and walk you down the steps of anything you want to do. And when it comes to a new adventure, people might give advice, people might give you clues, people might give you some encouragement, but it's up to you to take that first step. And once you take that first step, then you got to take the second step. And after that, it's like now you start getting a little bit momentum. And it's fun actually discovering, and it's exciting actually learning new things to say, wow, I didn't even know that you could really do this. That I thought that was hella cool. So, but anyways, this is my first video log of me just talking about massage therapy. I wanted the first video to be the introduction of how I became a massage therapist, being stuck emotionally, spiritually, and in life, in my mind, in one career, thinking that's all that I am and all that will ever be, because I was comfortable being guided down a new path, being shown the possibilities in massage therapy, not knowing where I was going to walk down to, not knowing the path, almost walking in the dark, but discovering new things, especially discovering a new person within myself to show the world. And now I get to help people in massage therapy, and I'm excited every single day I get to go to work. So I would love to hear other massage therapist stories, or how they got into massage, what they love about massage, what are their struggles. So I think one of the biggest struggles for me is, it's when you listen to another person's story, um, being sympathetic about it, to actually understand how they feel about it. Because it's very easy in massage to say, oh, you have a symptom, I can take care of that with this technique and this modality. No, it goes deeper than that. Like, when you understand the stress and trauma people go through in life and how they hold on to stress and trauma, and that shows within muscle tissue and how it responds to just their day-to-day life, their daily activity, them going to work, them dealing with family, social settings, the psychological mindset that they have. And we all go in and out of that negative space. Some people linger in that negative space a little too long, but it all shows within massage therapy. So understanding, truly understanding what somebody is going through past the symptoms of why it's being held there, that's probably one of the biggest struggles I go through. So I have to be very attentive, and I have to listen very, very well with complete sympathy and empathy to really understand how am I going to approach this treatment, because you have to be very adaptive to each person. But that's also the cool thing about massage. I think that's one of the coolest things ever, because it's never a cookie cutter session. Like my previous job, I clock in, I clock out, I got my paycheck, that was it. It was always the same thing. It was like Groundhog Day. Massage is so much more. It's never cookie cutter. Every hour is different, every client's different, every day is different, every emotion's different. Your mindset changes from day to day because we're human. But at the end, we're always helping each other. And man, that just holds so much value. That brings so much joy into my life. So leaving one lifestyle to another lifestyle with no clue how it was going to happen, man, it was the scariest, greatest thing I ever did in my life. And I hope other people who start massage therapy, or they start anything new adventure in their life, that you don't know how it's going to work out, jump anyway. I guarantee you're going to, if things didn't work out, you experience something new in your life and then move on to the next. But if you loved it, guess what? Now you have something new to tell your family, friends, and everybody else. You get to grow as a person. And if you want to do massage therapy, just imagine the impact you'd have, not just within your community, but globally. The impact you could have by helping so many people, just through the power of touch. So, but that was my journey becoming a massage therapist. I hope you liked the video. If you have any comments, leave them down. If you have any questions, put them in the comment box. I'll answer them as much as I can. If anything, I would like to hear anybody else's story on what they were scared of doing, but still decided to pull the trigger and found out it was the most amazing thing ever. This is Miguel, the Torture Room Guy. Peace out.